Hey, good evening. How is everyone doing? I'd like to take the time to welcome you to another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. And you know who I am, uh, Diedrich Hubbard. And today, this evening, we're going to talk about, we're still in the series of living life prophetically. And we're going to talk about mourning. And for many of you, you are still mourning things that God has allowed you to be delivered from. You are still mourning things that you can't get over why you made your dumb decision or why you made your fleshly decision. And so, for that matter, many of us are sitting in a season that we're mourning things that God has already moved away from. So, we're going to be in First Samuel chapter 16 as we discuss living your life prophetically, and we're dealing with the prophetic side of mourning. So here in First Samuel, rather, chapter 16, it says, "And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thy horn with oil and gold. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons." And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, Take a heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord. And call Jesse to the sacrifice. And I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him who I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and it came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourself and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to the sacrifice. My, morning. So here we see that Samuel, the prophet now, he was mourning over Saul. And he was mourning because he knew that God has taken his anointing off of him. I say it again. He knew that God had taken the anointing off of Saul. So many people heard me say something similar, and they asking how that can that be? Because God talks to me. He tells me what he do to certain people. Because see, we got to understand Israel didn't want a king that God wanted them to have. Israel, watch this, wanted their own king. So God allowed Saul to be king. You got to understand, God would never allow his work to die with the death or failure of a man. God's work goes beyond anybody. And we got to understand maybe Saul was paralyzed that morning because Saul said all he could, counseled all he could, did all he could, but yet Saul wanted to go his own way. But guess what? You want to go your own way, don't stop God from going through his way. So here, you got the prophet mourning. And see, when a prophet's mourn, it's different from other people mourning. Because although we seem heartless, we see what's going to happen in the future. And yet, because we can't say nothing, don't mean we don't feel the pain. Because it's terrifying to think that you're in the will of God and you're not. To think you're doing the things God wanted you to do, you doing it, but God ain't with you. The old folks say God is the only God that'll fire you and let you keep on working. You done seen in 27 years, I done seen that 4 times. I can't say that because they ain't gonna believe God ain't gonna do that. So I leave them to their delusion. But I know what I heard and I know what I said. So now, why are some of you still mourning people, situations, and things that God had already gotten over, and you still mourning them? That might have been the best wife you only had, but God over that. That might have been the best husband you had. God over that. That might have been the best child that you'd raised, your only child. God over that. So many of you are mourning things that cause you to get depressed, that cause you to get in your feelings, that cause you to get mad at people if they seem like they doing what other people do because you still mourning it. So what you do, you get in a new relationship, you get a new job, you get a new boo, but your boo can't be boo because you mourning at your boo. See, I'm gonna help y'all when I get where I need to go, but I'm gonna drop you some nuggets. You know how some of you can tell you're not ready for a relationship? When you make it mandatory that your new boo don't do what your old boo did to you. It's still in your spirit. See, every person got to be able to deal with a person on their own merits. And the minute something reminds you of what you had with such and such and such and such, you flip a switch in your head and you off to the races. Why you still mourning things that you say you healed from? You ain't healed. No, you ain't. So he tells Samuel, fill thou horn with oil and go. Understand you are anointed to mourn, but you ain't anointed to die in mourning. See, I can't sit around and keep on talking about the marriage I had, still got work to do. You can't let what somebody didn't understand consume me by sitting around. I wish they could have seen this. I wish they could have did that. God over that. He over that. Because see, some of you don't know what you have or had to is gone. Now you got to worry about if you got enough money to pay bills. Now you got to worry about how you gonna get food. Now you got to worry about who gonna babysit. But God to moved on. So you got to understand mourning as prophets, it depletes your anointing. See that horn, he said, fill, fill up with your anointing and go to work. Nobody want to see you sitting around there with Lay's potato chip and Ben and Jerry ice cream and a 2 liter Pepsi and boiled peanuts and in your little short shorts while your belly getting big. See, when you in mourning, you can't hear God for what He wants you to hear for because you too busy crying over what's gone. He said, I rejected him. I'm finna go find you somebody else. But in verse 2, Samuel is in fear. Where can I go? If Saul hear it, he gonna kill me. The Lord said, take a heifer with you, fool. Tell him you're going to sacrifice the Lord. It's something when you're a prophet and hear the voice of God, and the person that depend on you hearing God, that's the one you scared of. That's who you scared of. They ain't got no relationship with God. What you doing scared of him? He come to you to hear God. But that's who you scared of. Because mourning builds fear in prophetic people. Why you think I often say all the enemies I got that claim they prophets, they scared to fight. I'm not in the open. Somebody said, come on. They in secret. Look at him. Look at him. What are you talking about? Backbiting, lying, and manipulating. Come on out here. Why you gonna be bold as a lion, but scared as a stuffed bear? You know why? I ain't trying to be bad. I ain't in to play with though. I ain't in to play with that. Naturally or spiritually. Anywhere it go, I'm gonna fight to the end. Put me up there with the family annihilator. I'm killing everything. If you got fish, I'm gonna pour alcohol in the tank. They gone too. Leave no witness, because I ain't got time to be looking behind my back. Why should I be scared? I know the power of God. But you know what boldness come from? When you know you're in right standing with God. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. The only people scared are people who know they're wrong. That's why I told boss jump, because I ain't scared. Ain't nothing wrong with a little trolling. I throw a little shade here and there, pick at people to a point. But y'all wouldn't know who I am. They know who I am. What they know who they are, but you wouldn't. Come on that side if you're better than me. Cause that's all I want to do is display the power of God. That's all I want to do. So if we two people in God, God gonna destroy both of us for being wrong. But if I'm right and you wrong, you go. I'm willing to take that chance. So here you got Samuel scared of Saul. But see, God didn't tell Samuel to lie. He said, take a heifer. See, the reason he said take a heifer, a lot of you like Saul, you stick to a routine. You never question the routine, even when God is coming after your position. A lot of y'all don't even know God taking your position is because the same people you laughing and hee haw with, them the ones that setting you up to kill. He said, call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I'll show you what to do. And thou shalt anoint unto me whom I name. See, the problem is, y'all went to these prophets, y'all went to these church, y'all went to these leaders. Y'all didn't ask God. Don't nobody just come around me. I got to know God sent you. I ain't got time for playing tiddlywinks, hopscotch. We in a battle that y'all don't even see. And most of you can't even see it because you're scared to come to God. But watch the elders in the city. I think I kind of mentioned this the other day. First Samuel 4, Samuel came in town. It said the elders was trembling. Are you coming in peace? Are you coming in peace? Tradition scares a lot of you because you don't want change. So normally when a prophet come in town, he come to set stuff straight. They scared. He said, yeah, I came in peace. Come to the sacrifice. I got to show you something. Sanctify yourself, which means purify who you are. The reason a lot of you can't come to a place in God where you know your power, you too busy trying to kill people's character instead of cleaning your character up. He said, come to the sacrifice. See, watch what Sam did. He told the elders, sanctify yourself, but he sanctified Jesse and his son. Mm, mm. Y'all do know the main one that many of you talking about, the main one you gossiping about, the main one you hate, the main one you lying on, the main one you got that hidden out animosity. You do know that might be the one that God assigned to clean you up. Because they don't walk around with these big Catholic hats and they in the long crows stuck in the pocket, kissing on your fingers. I'm I'm chief, chief apostle of the third jurisdiction and all that bull. Y'all don't want to accept people. But it's the people that dressed up with a show are the ones that ain't got no power. The one coming around here dressed like Brother Hubbard, they don't miss a beat. Because their power is not in what they put on to show they have a position in God. It's because they use the power inside of them, so you know they got a position in God. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord anointed is before him. See, a lot of prophets are still like Samuel. You you think because it's bigger and better that is about God. You think because all the prophecies right that is about God. You got to understand a person's heart. Because in verse 7, God had to speak to Samuel and lay down the law. It says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord sees not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord look at the heart. See, he said, reject anything that look like Saul. Because see, Saul was a pretty big guy from what I understand and from what I've seen. So because fear was still in Samuel, he thought God was going to replace him with a Saul lookalike. You know how many people that left Brother Hubbard and trying to find a lookalike? It's never another Brother Hubbard. I'm here to tell you. Ain't no doppelganger around here. The reason a lot of y'all lacking in God is because you turned the way the people that had God's heart. And you went to the people that taught God's heart. It's a difference. Verse 8, then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass for Samuel. And he said, neither had the Lord chosen this. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, neither had the Lord chosen this. Notice he's not saying him. He's saying this. So you got to understand that many of you that walk in these haughty, prideful attitude, that sometimes your attitude so stank, God can't recognize you as a human. He got to recognize who you are of this because you're not operating like he made you to operate. You're not talking like he taught you to talk. Verse 10, again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord has not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesus, send and fetch Jesse, brother, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and godly to look at. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came from David for that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. So y'all can tell me that I tell you God gonna take somebody's spirit. You gonna tell ain't nothing new under the sun. It's because you don't have a relationship with God that you don't think it can be done. So notice Samuel said, are here all thy children? See, because David didn't look like his brothers, to Jesse, he was no good. But we're gonna interject the background. Jesse put away David's mother because Jesse, in researching his lineage, he came from the lineage of Boaz. Boaz married Ruth, who was not of the lineage. But by marriage, she became part of it. All right. So now he was questioning who David's mother was because she came from that lineage. So what happened, he tried to keep his lineage pure. He put David's mother away. What Jesse did, he went and got one of his maidservants and was going to have sex with her. Right? What happened, the maidservant told David's mother. What happened, the maid, the maidservant gave David's mother her clothes and she went in there. Jesse slept with David's mother without knowing. All right. Jesse was born. David was born. So what happened, he didn't kill David's mother, but he thought David, his own son, was a bastard. That's how, that's why he put David in the sheep pen because he considered David a disgrace. Because he didn't know that he slept with David's mother. That's how David hid in the sheep pen. Y'all need to know that. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, just because, oh, I got to take this.